Welcome back to Prop News Time. Here are the headlines for the day. Maha Arera cracks down on misleading ads, mandates bold display of QR code and registration details. In a move aimed at boosting transparency for home buyers, Maha Arera has enforced a new regulation requiring developers to display the project's Maha Arera registration number, QR code, and the regulator's website in a font size equal to or larger than the project's contact details in all advertisements. This mandate, which came into effect earlier this week, applies across all advertisement platforms: print, digital, and outdoor. Developers failing to comply may be fined up to 50,000 rupees, and repeated non-compliance after a 10-day grace period will trigger further action under the ARERA Act. Maharashtra government backs INR 10,000 crore PFCL loan to push Mumbai infra growth. The Maharashtra government has agreed to act as guarantor for an INR 10,000 crore loan extended by Power Finance Corporation Limited (PFCL) to fund infrastructure projects across the Mumbai metropolitan region (MMR). A government resolution issued earlier this week confirmed the cabinet's nod to this financial arrangement for the 2024-25 fiscal. Although a new guarantee is being issued due to the previous financial year closing, it remains subject to further cabinet clearance. The Mumbai Metropolitan Region Development Authority (MMRDA), designated as the principal borrower, is responsible for monthly updates to the Finance and Urban Development departments. Overall, the state has permitted MMRDA to borrow up to INR 60,000 crore, of which guarantees for INR 24,000 crore have already been extended. Pune property deals. Priyanka Chopra's family leases Pune property for INR 225,000 monthly. Priyanka Chopra's mother, Madhu Chopra, and brother, Siddharth Chopra, have leased their 4,800 square feet property in Pune's Koregaon Park for INR 225,000 per month. The 5-year lease includes a 5% annual rent escalation, starting at INR 225,000 and reaching INR 273,000 by the 5th year, totaling an expected rental income of INR 1 crore 49 lakh. Purchased it in August 2017 for INR 5 crore 60 lakh. The property's rental yield is projected to increase from 4.8% in the first year to 5.86% by the 5th year. Delhi Real Estate DDA extends deadline for 2 housing schemes till April 30. The Delhi Development Authority DDA has extended the deadline for its Sabka Ghar Awas Yojana 2025 and Shramik Awas Yojana 2025 housing schemes to April 30, 2025 in response to high public interest. Both schemes offer discounted rates on unsold flats in areas like Narela, Siraspur, and Loknayakpuram. Bookings for the the remaining flats reopened on April 9 and will remain open until the new deadline. The move aims to promote affordable housing in Delhi by giving potential buyers more time to apply and benefit from financial incentives. Gurugram. Southern Peripheral Road becomes top choice for investors and professionals. Gurugram's Southern Peripheral Road (SPR) is rapidly emerging as a prime real estate and business hub, with property prices soaring 125% since 2020. Driven by the rise of corporate centers and major developments, SPR is being dubbed the Cyber City too. Prices jumped from INR 7,600 per 90 to INR 17,300 per square feet. Supported by government investments like INR 2,000 crore for infrastructure and an additional INR 8 crore 25 lakh for pedestrian and cycling tracks. Top developers like DLF and Signature Global are launching major projects, while existing facilities host giants like TCS and PepsiCo. With improved connectivity, civic upgrades, and rising demand, SPR is positioned as Gurugram's next growth engine. TNUHDB renovates 8,352 flats in Chennai's Perumbakam with an INR 70 crore allocation. The Tamil Nadu Urban Habitat Development Board, TNUHDB, has undertaken the renovation of 8,352 residential flats in Perumbakkam, Chennai, with an investment of INR 70 crore. This upgrade is part of a larger initiative to enhance over 62,000 housing units across Chennai and neighboring areas, improving infrastructure and living standards. The move aligns with the state's efforts to ensure better housing facilities for economically weaker sections. The project includes structural repairs, improved amenities, and maintenance measures aimed at enhancing long-term habitability. Thane identifies land parcels for SGNP slum rehabilitation. The Thane collector has identified 10 land parcels across Thane district, covering over 85 hectares, to relocate slum dwellers from Sanjay Gandhi National Park, SGNP. These include locations in Ambernath, Shapur, Kalyan, and Mambra, and have been submitted to the Bombay High Court. The move is part of a larger initiative to comply with the court's directive to rehabilitate SGNP slum residents, a task pending since 2011. An affidavit submitted in court noted that 312 commercial and residential structures in SGNP were deemed ineligible for relocation due to discrepancies in documentation and eligibility. Kredai MK and Payata urge Maharashtra government to restore access to online property database. Kredai MK and the Practicing Engineers, Architects and Town Planners Association, Payata, have urged Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Shri Eknath Shinde to reinstate online access to critical property and layout databases that recently went offline. These digital tools, previously available on the Mayada and district collectors' websites, were essential for architects, developers, and citizens in verifying details and streamlining construction approvals. The sudden blackout has disrupted operations, forcing users to rely on time-consuming manual processes and outdated records, significantly affecting transparency and project timelines across Mumbai. Maharashtra grants land ownership to partition-era Sindhi refugees. Over 70 years after partition, Sindhi families who migrated from West Pakistan to Maharashtra are set to receive long-awaited ownership rights to the lands they settled on. The state cabinet has approved a special one-year amnesty scheme to regularize land leases in 30 designated areas, excluding Ulhasnagar. The scheme grants freehold status at a concessional rate, benefiting an estimated 5 lakh people. Residential properties up to 1,500 square foot will be charged a 5% premium of the ready reckoner rate, RERK, while commercial properties will pay 10%. For larger properties, the rate will double. Revenue Minister Chandra Shekhar Bavankale said the scheme may be extended if needed. Mumbai. Supreme Court clears path for Chembur slum rehab towers. Rejects AAI plea on height clearance. The Supreme Court dismissed a special leave petition filed by the Airports Authority of India, AAI, against a Bombay High Court judgment that permitted increased building heights in a slum rehabilitation project in Chembur, Mumbai. The High Court had directed AAI to issue a No Objection Certificate, NOC, for the height clearance after an appellate committee had already approved the plan. AAI argued it would face hardships without reversing the HC verdict, but the Apex Court refused to interfere. The project involves 30 towers, including rehabilitation and free sale buildings, developed under a joint venture. Mumbai Real Estate, slum redevelopment in MMR gets faster with new 60-day rule. In a push to accelerate slum redevelopment across Maharashtra, the state cabinet approved key amendments to the Maharashtra Slum Area Reform, Elimination and Rehabilitation Act 1971. The revisions shorten the timeline for submitting redevelopment proposals, empower authorities to reassign projects if deadlines are missed, and streamline land leasing for joint ventures in the Mumbai Metropolitan Region, MMR. New provisions will also address non-participation by slum dwellers and delayed rent payments by developers. These amendments aim to fast-track the state's goal of becoming slum-free, while ensuring better enforcement and accountability in rehabilitation schemes. Land survey centers launched in Nagpur and Kamptee to improve property services. The Maharashtra government has inaugurated new land survey centers in Nagpur and Kamptee to streamline property-related services and reduce public inconvenience. These centers will provide mutation, demarcation, and measurement services under one roof, all at government-prescribed rates. Equipped with trained staff and digital tools, the facilities aim to enhance transparency and efficiency in land management. Citizens are expected to benefit from faster processing and fewer procedural hurdles. This initiative is part of the broader digitization of land records and public service delivery. NGT directs GANIDA to take action against illegal constructions in Greater Noida and Noida. The National Green Tribunal, NGT, has directed the Greater Noida Industrial Development Authority, GANIDA, to take action against ongoing illegal constructions in violation of environmental norms. The order follows a petition alleging that numerous houses, shops, and commercial establishments were being built without the necessary green clearances in Greater Noida and Noida. Despite previous directives in December 2024 to halt such projects, illegal constructions continued. The NGT has asked GANIDA to identify these projects and enforce appropriate action, with a comprehensive report to be filed by the authorities. Projects with pre-RERA occupancy certificate applications exempt from Karnataka RERA registration. The Karnataka Real Estate Regulatory Authority, KRERA, has clarified that real estate projects that applied for an occupancy certificate, OC, before the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act, RERA, was implemented in the state are not required to register under KRERA. This decision emerged from a case involving the Hamilton Homes project by SJR Prime Corporation in Bengaluru's Electronic City. Despite homebuyers' complaints about incomplete flats and missing infrastructure, KRERA referenced a Karnataka High Court ruling stating that projects with OC or partial OC applications submitted before RERA's enforcement are exempt from registration. Consequently, KRERA dismissed the homebuyer's complaint, affirming that such projects are not obligated to register under the Act. BMC to reissue eviction notice to Century Mills tenants sets 15-day deadline. The Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation, BMC, plans to issue a fresh eviction notice to 675 tenants of Century Mills in Worli, asking them to vacate within 15 days. This follows claims from tenants that they never received the original notice, sent in February 2025. The move is linked to a redevelopment plan for the INR 660 crore plot, leased to Century Textiles and Industries Limited in 2005. There remains no clarity on tenant rehabilitation, despite past legal disputes, and a 2022 Bombay High Court ruling supporting BMC's stand. Kredai. Naredko expect housing revival after RBI cuts repo rate by 25 BPS. Housing sales are expected to rise after the RBI cut the repo rate by 25 basis points, say real estate bodies Kredai and Naredko. This move is likely to lower home loan interest rates, boosting demand for affordable and mid-income homes. Kredai. President Boman Irani said the rate cut supports growth during global uncertainty and will improve affordability. Naredko's Jihari Babu added that cheaper loans may increase sales, reduce unsold inventory, and encourage new project launches. Commercial real estate is also set to benefit. Housing sales had dropped in early 2025 due to high prices and fewer launches, with up to 28% declines reported in major cities. Mumbai. BMC's capital expenditure soars past INR 36,900 crore, driven by a mega infrastructure push. The Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation, BMC, recorded its highest ever capital expenditure of INR 36,900 crore in financial year 2024-25, reflecting a 57% surge from the previous year's outlay of INR 23,520 crore. This sharp jump in spending was primarily directed toward big-ticket infrastructure projects like the Gorgaon-Mulund Link Road, GMLR, the Mumbai Coastal Road, and hospital redevelopment. Simultaneously, BMC's revenue income rose to a record INR 43,847 crore, backed by strong growth in property tax and development charges. Despite the robust financials, the civic body's fixed deposits saw a slight decline due to planned drawdowns to support its infrastructure commitments. HBITS secures SEBI approval to launch Small and Medium REIT HBITS. A fractional ownership platform specializing in commercial real estate has received approval from the Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, to launch its Small and Medium Real Estate Investment Trust, SM-REIT. The company plans to initiate its maiden SM-REIT initial public offering, IPO, by June 2025 and aims to migrate its existing portfolio into this structure. HBITS targets assets under management, AUM, of INR 2,000 crore by March 2026, providing retail investors access to premium-grade commercial properties with the potential for consistent income and long-term wealth creation. India pitches reforms and growth at UK Investor Roundtable in London. India's Finance Minister, SMT Nirmala Sitharaman, chaired an investor roundtable in London earlier this week, drawing participation from around 60 UK-based institutional investors, including pension funds, banks, and insurance firms. The meeting spotlighted India's reform-driven economic vision, highlighting the country's robust digital economy, rapid fintech adoption, and significant strides in the financial sector. Sitharaman promoted India as a top destination for foreign investments, underlining growth potential in banking and insurance, the global standing of its securities market, and the strategic role of GIFT FSE. The roundtable set the stage for deeper economic cooperation ahead of the India-UK Economic and Financial Dialogue. Mixed-use developments bring institutional investors back to Indian housing market. Institutional investors are once again showing strong interest in India's residential real estate, with a sharp pivot towards mixed-use developments that combine residential, commercial, and retail spaces. Investment in this segment touched USD 191 million earlier this year, recovering from a significant drop in 2023, when inflows were limited to just USD 42 million. Major deals, including Alpha Wave Ventures' investment in Oberoi Realty and Blackstone's stake in Kolte Patil, indicate growing confidence in the sector. The trend reflects shifting buyer preferences and urban development strategies focused on integrated, master-planned communities. Nashik civic body issues notices to 70 developers over neglected traffic islands. The Nashik Municipal Corporation has served notices to 70 private developers for failing to maintain traffic islands they had agreed to develop and keep under CSR or joint development conditions. These developers were allotted islands on major roads, but many were found neglected during recent inspections. The civic body has asked them to respond within 7 days or face further penalties. This step is part of a broader effort to improve road aesthetics and traffic management in the city and hold stakeholders accountable. Patna residents face issues with property tax receipts and records. Property owners in Patna are facing persistent issues in obtaining receipts and updated records for property tax payments. Several residents have reported missing receipts and unprocessed payments even after timely deposits. This has caused concern, especially during property transfers or legal verifications. The municipal corporation has acknowledged the problem and cited technical glitches and staff shortages. It plans to streamline its digital tax system and set up help desks to address complaints. The situation highlights the need for stronger back-end systems in urban tax administration. Belagavi Civic Body approves 3% hike in property tax. The Belagavi City Corporation has approved a 3% increase in property tax for the financial year 2025-26. The move aims to generate revenue and improve urban infrastructure and civic amenities. This is part of the routine annual revision in line with the Karnataka Municipal Corporation Act, which allows for an increase of up to 15% every 3 years. The revised tax rates will be applicable from April 1, 2025, impacting both residential and commercial property owners within the city limits. New platform Gram aims to transform home buying across Indian cities. Gram, a first-of-its-kind real estate advisory platform, was officially launched in Bengaluru earlier this week. Backed by Credvest, a real estate management firm overseeing transactions worth 8,000 crore rupees, Gram promises a consumer-first, zero-cost model designed to transform the home buying journey. It offers personalized advisory, legal, and financial support, and post-purchase assistance under one roof. Already partnered with more than 100 developers and 350 projects in Bengaluru, Gram plans to expand into 7 major cities and aims to capture 10% of the residential real estate market, translating to over 50,000 crore rupees in transactions within the next 3 years. MMRDA secures INR 4 lakh crore in funding from Indian financial institutions to boost infrastructure projects, in a major step towards fast-tracking infrastructure development across the Mumbai Metropolitan Region, MR. The Mumbai Metropolitan Region Development Authority, MRDA, secured financing agreements worth 4 lakh crore rupees earlier this week. Signed during the India Global Forum's NXT-T5 summit in Mumbai, the agreements involve several prominent public sector financial institutions. HUDCO committed 1,50,000 crore rupees towards housing and urban projects, while REC and PFC each pledged 1 lakh crore rupees for energy and mobility development. Additionally, IRFC contributed 50,000 crore rupees for metro and rail connectivity, and NABI FII allocated 7,000 crore rupees for smart urban infrastructure. The initiative aims to build a $300 billion economy in the region by 2030. Maharashtra clears INR 3,040 crore for Vadhavan Port, set to become India's largest maritime hub. The Maharashtra government has approved 3,040 crore rupees in funding for this Maharashtra Maritime Board, MMB, to support the development of the Vadhavan Port in Dahanu Taluka, Palghar district. Envisioned as a satellite port to Jawaharlal Nehru Port Authority, JNPA, the project will be implemented through Vadhavan Port Project Limited, a joint venture between JNPA and MMB. While JNPA will cover 74% of the 26,220 crore rupees project cost, the state will contribute the remaining 26%. The initiative is being promoted as a major step towards bolstering Maharashtra's port infrastructure and boosting economic growth. Maharashtra, state yet to appoint agencies for MMR Growth Hub projects. Months after the announcement of MMR as a global economic growth hub, the Maharashtra government has yet to assign implementing agencies for several key projects under this initiative. The Mumbai Metropolitan Region Development Authority, MMRDA, has identified 35 major infrastructure and redevelopment works to transform MMR into a $300 billion economy by 2050. These include logistics parks, transit-oriented development, tourism infrastructure, and slum rehabilitation. However, a lack of agency allocation is delaying implementation. Although the state has made some progress, gaps remain, especially in redeveloping 2.2 million slum dwellings and coordinating between central and state bodies. Adani-backed Colombo Port Terminal begins operations. First vessel expected in May. Adani Ports and Special Economic Zone Lulpita, APSEEZ, has commenced operations at the West Container Terminal, WCT, in Colombo, developed through a joint venture with Sri Lanka's John Keells Holdings and the Sri Lanka Ports Authority. This is the first Indian private sector investment in Sri Lanka's port infrastructure. The terminal, which saw 4,900 crore rupees in investment, is expected to handle transshipment traffic between India and Southeast Asia. Operations begin ahead of the first scheduled vessel call in May, with the facility projected to be fully functional by 2025. LA's mansion tax falls short, raising only USD 288M annually versus USD 600M. 1.1b target. A UCLA study finds that Los Angeles's mansion tax, a levy on property sales above $5 million, has led to a 50% drop in high-end transactions. Intended to fund affordable housing, the tax has instead slowed residential construction and commercial development while generating far less revenue than expected. Originally projected to raise up to $1.1 billion annually, it has averaged just $288 million per year. The sharp decline in new housing projects and job creation raises concerns that the tax may be discouraging investment, reducing economic activity, and prompting calls for policymakers to reassess its impact on the city's housing market and financial stability. Bangkok's condo crisis deepens as earthquake shakes buyer confidence. Bangkok's condo oversupply crisis is worsening after a 7.7 magnitude earthquake in Myanmar, which killed 2,700 people and damaged 13,000 buildings in Thailand, including a collapsed office tower. The quake has shaken buyer confidence, especially in high-rises, worsening unsold inventory, which hit 235,000 units in 2023. Condo sales fell 37% in 2024, despite government incentives. Developers like Ananda and Origin face rising inspection costs, while firms like Sansiri assure safety. Analysts predict a short-term demand drop but expect recovery, as no fatal condo collapses occurred. The property index has declined 32% in a year, reflecting the sector's ongoing struggles. Foreign investors in Dubai shift gears as land plots outshine apartments. Foreign investors increasingly favor land plots over apartments in Dubai's real estate market, drawn by greater flexibility, higher returns, and long-term value potential. Plot transactions reached a record high earlier this year, with over 180,000 deals valued above 500 billion AED. Prime areas like Emirates Hills, Palm Jumeirah, and Dubai Hills are attracting high-end buyers, while more affordable investment zones such as Dubai South, JVC, and Dubai Land are gaining traction among mid-range investors. Experts say the average returns on land plots significantly surpass those of apartments, boosted by tax incentives, upcoming mega projects, and favorable regulations. That's a wrap for today. Tune in tomorrow for the latest headlines.